Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. As you saw, we pulled Pete in. It's time to do some maintenance on it and replacing the air tanks and rebuilding the Accuair manifold. It leaks every night completely out, and I'm tired of having to air it up. The cartridges, I'll show you on the, I believe it's the AUV or AVU manifold. It's common for them to leak. And the tank that I used was a used one. So it got a pinhole. I repaired that a few years back, and obviously it came back. So we got, like I said, 2 brand new slim tanks that'll replace. One was new, so I'll keep the other one as a spare. And then from Jason Thorbeck, we got the replacement manifold that allows you to thread in national pipe threads instead of the pop-in cartridges that have an O-ring that just completely leak. And we'll completely be rebuilding this one as well. New O-rings, new plungers. This I had to buy separately. It doesn't come up, but Jason's block comes with the tool that's needed as well. It helps getting the valves off. So I'll get the truck in the air and we'll go ahead and start replacing stuff. I'm not sure if I'm taking the bed off. I'm going to attempt to pull everything out from the access panel. I might have to pull off the wheels, but that's not a problem. The access panel's right there. It's just 2, 4, 6, 10 bolts. And then I might be able to get it out there. If not, I think last time I pulled it off from the wheel. And I also have to pull the train horn valve, as when this airs out to 0 to nothing, the train horns want to sing until they hit about 40 PSI. So I need to change out that valve to a higher pressure valve that can handle it, because I'm at 200 PSI at all times. And I do have a regulator on it, or I need to clean that one. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do just yet. It would be nice not have to air it up every time I want to go use it. I have to fill the tank back up. That's 10 gallons. Each one of them is 5, so that's 10 gallons of air. Luckily, I have an engine-driven compressor under the hood. All right, let's get this thing up in the air and get started. Now with the bed off, we can go ahead and start pulling some things apart, swapping them out one by one. The bed was a little bit of a struggle, but sometimes they always are. They're big, bulky, and just difficult to move sometimes. For anyone that doesn't know, this truck I built 2018 under a carport. I didn't have even a garage. I didn't have this shop. This was all built underneath, out in the elements, in a carport. No plasma table. I had to carry my tools from my spare bedroom that I didn't have really nothing in except for my tools, parts, stuff like that. I had to bring the welder, grinder, everything out of the house. And then each night, evening that I was finished, I'd have to put the welder up, clean everything up, because I didn't want it to get stolen and might grow some feet and walk away. I lived on a main road, and I actually had, the first month I moved in there, long time ago, I had a plastic bed liner stolen out of my S10, the one that's chopped. Yeah, whatever. But anywho, I'm gonna take one tank at a time, pull the fittings and put it on the new one, and then put it back and move on to the next one. That way we can kind of keep order of what's going on here. I know it's messy, but it works. And then with the train horn, this valve, I'm gonna take apart and clean it and see if that helps it. Otherwise, I'm gonna change it out with an SMC. When this leaks out, that's why I'm changing it. One tank, one of these has a hole in it. I bought it used and wasn't aware that there was already rusting issues on the inside. So I'm just gonna replace them both, call that problem solved. But when it airs completely out and is at 0 PSI, the train horns like to scream until you hit 40. So we need to get that fixed. We need to keep the air in the tanks, keep this system nice and sealed. That way we don't have to stress the compressor out, the engine driven. So I also decided to take the bed off because I needed better access. When I go to seal test everything and make sure everything's nice and sealed up, I'm not gonna wanna do that through that access panel that's in the back of there. Now I have full access of everything. I can spray it down with the soapy water that I need to spray it with to make sure there's no bubbles, and that'll tell you there's no air leaks. And when I go to put the bed back on, I'm not gonna have it this high in the air. That hoist was almost maxed out, and I could just barely get it up over everything, because I have this thing 12, 13 inches off the ground, because while it's in here and up in the air, I'm gonna go ahead and knock out an oil change. So it's time to get at it. Let's get this knocked out. Had to take a quick little break. Ran out of Teflon tape. I would use my Loctite, but you have to let everything sit for 24 hours or longer. And I don't have that kind of time, as I have stuff coming in a day or two, and I need this wrapped up as fast as possible. So I'm using Teflon on it. Well, this is the daily driver. Wife has the Trailblazer at work, so I walked up to corner auto parts store that you can kind of see behind that house right there. That's the back of it, 2 blocks away. So that was quite, I guess you'd say, convenient. So we'll go ahead and get back to prepping these fittings. As you can see here, I cleaned them up. These are all new. They have, it's not tape, it's like liquid tape on there, the sealant. And when I go to reuse any fitting, I always clean it up and reseal it. I won't stick it back in there, as I don't want leaks. I didn't pull any of that apart, so it'll stay like that. I will clean it up and wipe it down, so when I go to check, make sure none of that leaks, I'll be able to without it getting just the extra cruddy. Because you get that wet, it'll just turn into more mud and crap. And then I'll take, once the tank has all its fittings where it's gonna go and tighten down, we'll set it back over there. We'll pull this one as it sits below the other tank, and I can't take that one out if I put the other one back in. All the fittings are swapped over. Brand new Teflon on everything. Now we'll go ahead and I'll throw some airline on these and we'll pressure test them. I will check for leaks before they get installed. That way I'm not installing them. If there's a leak, I gotta pull it off, whatnot. So I like to test everything before it gets put on the vehicle. After a quick little break, we'll get that knocked out. Both of the tanks passed, all sealed up, no air bubbles from any of the fittings. So now we can start putting them back in there in the truck. But first I'm gonna make, before I had just some washers underneath it to space them up to where they wouldn't touch, because the other tank sits so close to these fittings. I'm gonna cut out a couple spacers on the table. So we're gonna go ahead and go draw them up. And then we can put the tanks back in, pull that manifold, and rebuild it with all the parts we have. Hey, if you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for me. Turn on notifications.
Take it up, take me round.
we wait for those 4 brackets to dry, or spacers, I'll show them to you. They're just 3/16. They're identical to the tank feet plates, as you can see right here. This was pre-drilled for another spot, but it's just these 3 holes. It's standard on these. And now I have the file saved. If I need to and want to make custom mounts, I could weld something to the side of there or however I want. And I can actually make different steps instead of using what I had at the time. That was just some angle iron that I cut a curve into, made them level and welded it up, and used the factory brace as a mount for that. So we'll give these brackets a few more minutes to dry, and then we'll mount the tanks up. We are on a roll. I ordered some 45s for the backside and then realized that it'll work better with some straight ones. And I don't know what thought slipped my mind. These are 1/4 inch. And for some reason I thought the ones I had were 1/4 inch. They are 3/8. So I need some imports. So it looks like I need 6 straight ones. So I need to order them and get them ASAP, and then we can continue. So for now, I'll clean these up, retape these, put them on, snug these down to where they're on, and we'll put this back on with the acorn nuts. Look better than the regular nuts. A little rusted, but every little bit makes it look better. All right, so once we get that back together, I'll go ahead and knock out that oil change. This is the valve for the train horns. It, when you add air, should not be allowing anything going through. They stay closed until they're activated, and then when you give it power, it'll open. This one, obviously, you'll see isn't right, isn't good. So that's got to be replaced. I'm rummaging through my spare parts box and I come up with this valve. This is a much larger valve than the one from Horn Blasters. It's definitely going to do its job. I only used it because it came with the kit. I've never been a fan of using the smaller valves and stuff, so we'll see what this big thing will do. These are the type of valves I have on the S10, old school. So this valve setup will stay on this one, but a little secret, I'm gonna get another valve body or another type of block, but it's gonna be a bigger one for the air management for the next truck I personally build. All right, we're gonna test this one. I'm gonna hook up some air to it. On the, you can see the arrow here. That's the direction the air goes. So I'll put a fitting on here, hook the air to it, and make sure it's working fine and not leaking. We're good. See, you can have air without anything coming out. That's how it should be. Until you hit power, activate that solenoid, then that valve's supposed to open up. So this is what we'll use, and we'll swap it over. Now that that's all swapped out, I'll tighten the nut down for this one, solenoid valve, excuse me, and then I'll tighten down the connector. This style has a screw-in connector that keeps the harness in. But everything's bolted back in, snug. We'll do an air test in a minute, and then we can go ahead and get this manifold all the fittings put on it. These are the new fittings that we went down and got out of Orlando. So we'll go ahead and put all those in. All the air management's together. Now we'll do a pressure test and we'll spray it down to check for leaks. I went ahead and tightened down this, like I said. Screwed this in nice and secure. That's nice and tight. Now we'll test everything out. Then we'll leave the air in it. I'll check the gauge inside, take a picture of the pressure, and then we'll knock out the oil change to give that some time to see if it leaks down. If we're good to go, we'll put the bed on and get it out of here. Now that everything's all done, the oil change is done, all this is leak free. Everything works. The valve has been replaced, all secure, works. The pressure regulator I readjusted. Only thing I have to put on is this. Next, we'll go ahead and get the bed back on, get it off jack stands, and pull it out of here. back together. Now we can go ahead and pull it out and enjoy no leaks. Fresh oil change, ready to go. Need to wash it. Definitely can use a bath. All right, let's go ahead and pull it out. I want to let everybody know, thanks for watching as always. If you haven't yet, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. That way you get notified and all the content we put out.